तो कोई आदमी नदी में डूबता है, नदी से उभरता भी।
Right. So we've been discussing how it is only all together that we can overcome this problem that we have brought upon ourselves and on this planet. And it is also together that if we choose to, we can remain immersed in the problem and drown within it. And that it is possible for us, based on our decision and our choices, to drown in these problems or to emerge and overcome. It depends on our decisions at the end of the day.
समुद्र में डूबता है, समुद्र से उभरता भी है, ये सब देखा गया है, ये संभावना रखी ही है। वो संभावना को क्या हम अनुसरण करना भी पाते हैं?
So if he can drown in that river, we can also emerge from it. That possibility remains, whether we want to, whether we are capable of availing of that possibility, whether we want to avail of that possibility.
करना चाहते भी हैं या नहीं चाहते हैं, ये हमारे विचारों पर निर्भर किया जाता है।
Or whether we don't want to, all of that depends on our own thinking, our thoughts and our mentality.
रहता है, उसके साथ परिस्थितियां अपने आप से सज हो जाते हैं। चाहते हैं उसके साथ परिस्थितियां अनुकूल हो जाते हैं, नहीं चाहते हैं उसी के अनुसार परिस्थितियां प्रतिकूल हो जाते हैं।
So it depends on our mentality, our thinking, our decisions. And in accordance to that, accordingly, the circumstances also align themselves. If we want to overcome the problems, then the circumstances will align to that. And if we don't want to overcome the problems, the circumstances will also align to that decision of ours.
यही हमारा जो देखी सुनी और सर्वे की हुई तथ्यों के साथ यही निष्कर्ष निकलते।
This is the very conclusion I have come to based on all that I have seen and heard, all the facts that I have seen, heard, and surveyed.
तो ये अपने बुद्धि भ्रमित होने के फलस्वरूप, भ्रमित बुद्धि के आधार पर हम वस्तु का मूल्यांकन करने में पर्यावरण का, माने प्रकृति की, वातावरण का महत्ता को हम मूल्यांकन करने में चूक गए।
So this is what has happened due to the delusion of our buddhi, of our intellect. Because our intellect is full of delusion, this is where we have fallen short in being able to evaluate our environment.
फलस्वरूप हम विविध प्रकार से क्षतिग्रस्त हुए, क्षतिग्रस्त किए, क्षतिग्रस्त होने की जगह में आए।
And consequently, we have been hurt by that in many, many ways. We have also damaged, we have also caused hurt and damage in many ways, and also been hurt and damaged ourselves due to the same reason.
क्षतिग्रस्त होते तक तो बड़ा खुशहाली मनाते रहे, इसमें दो राय नहीं, और हम स्वयं क्षतिग्रस्त होने की संभावना से डरते भी हैं, ये दो राय नहीं, और हम स्वयं क्षतिग्रस्त हुए, क्षतिग्रस्त किए, क्षतिग्रस्त होने की जगह में आए। क्षतिग्रस्त होते तक तो बड़ा खुशहाली मनाते रहे, इसमें दो राय नहीं, और हम स्वयं क्षतिग्रस्त होने की संभावना से डरते भी हैं।
So until we suffered the damage ourselves, we were in this, we've also celebrated quite a lot. But then we have also been afraid of this possibility of facing damage and hurt ourselves.
ये दोनों चीज देखा गया।
Both of these things have been observed. So you think up until the point that we suffered the damage, we were celebrating our abilities and our understanding. But then while celebrating also, we were still fearful of the potential damage that we might suffer. Both of these things existed until we ourselves started suffering damage.
ये तो हुई विगत की विश्लेषण, विज्ञान युग तक ये बात हो गई।
And then after that, we had also suffered damage ourselves. So all this has been an analysis of the past.
हुई विगत की विश्लेषण विज्ञान युग तक ये बात हो गई,
which is what occurred up till the scientific age.
यदि मानव युग तैयार होता है, मानव संचेतना से मानव यदि व्यवस्था के रूप में जीना बनता है, बनने के लिए हम यदि अपने में तत्पर हो पाते हैं.
So now, if human beings were capable of living in the humane age, that is, if we could prepare ourselves to be dedicated to live with humanity, with humaneness,
बनता है. मानव संचेतना से मानव यदि व्यवस्था के रूप में जीना बनता है, ये बात हो गई. यदि मानव युग तैयार होता है, मानव संचेतना से मानव यदि व्यवस्था के रूप में जीना बनता है.
if with humane consciousness, human were to be able to live in a humane orderliness, then
बनने के लिए हम यदि अपने में तत्पर हो पाते हैं,
which would require that for that we would have to dedicate, if we were able to dedicate ourselves to be able to live with humane consciousness in a humane order.
तत्पर होने के बारे में आपको बताया, हम कितने तत्पर हैं, वो हम अपने ढंग से निरंतर काम करते ही रहेंगे.
And regarding our dedication, I've already told you how dedicated we are. Is we are constantly working and living in accordance with our dedication.
इसमें दो मुखापेक्षी की कोई वार्ता ही नहीं है. इसमें दो मुखापेक्षी की कोई वार्ता ही नहीं है. हम जो आपसे ये भी बता दिए तो जीवन विद्या एक दूसरे के पास पहुंचता है, हम समझे हैं, दूसरों को समझा पाए.
So there is no, I don't know what that word is, paramukha-pekshi. I have no idea what that could mean. He said there's no question of paramukha-pekshi in this.
पास पहुंचता है, हम समझे हैं, दूसरों को समझा पाए.
And in this I've also mentioned Jeevan Vidya. Whoever it may reach, whatever I have understood, I will also be able to help others understand. I will also be able to explain to others.
के पास पहुंचता है, हम समझे हैं, दूसरों को समझा पाए. इसका प्रमाण हमारे पास है, और शिक्षा का मानवीकरण की जो प्रमाण है वो किसी एक स्कूल में हम लोग तैयार कर.
So whatever I have understood, I have been able to help others understand, to explain to them, and I have the evidence to that. And the evidence of the humanization of education, for that we have already conducted an experiment in one school.
चुके वो गोविंदपुर बिजनौर जिले में, और उस प्रमाण और उससे निकली परिणाम के अनुसार शुभ दिखा.
In the Bijnor, in Govindpur, in Bijnor, and the observations from that, the results from that experiment,
उसको लोकव्यापीकरण करने के लिए अभी मध्य प्रदेश सरकार के साथ ये पंचवर्षीय सिलेबस को, पाठ्यक्रम को प्रस्तुत किए हैं. वो यदि समझ में आता है उसकी उपयोगिता, तब उसके साथ हम काम करें.
And in order to publicize the achievements from that experimental school, we have come together with the Madhya Pradesh government for a 5-year syllabus plan. And if that proves to be meaningful to them, then we will work forward from there.
अन्यथा हम किसी न किसी गांव में मानवीय शिक्षा के बारे में काम करते ही रहे.
Else, we will naturally continue to keep working in terms of humane education in some village or the other. So he's saying whether the Madhya Pradesh government or any other government accepts it or not, we will continue working towards it, whether it's limited to a village or just one school or wherever and however it may be.
रहेंगे वो हमसे इतना होता ही है.
This much is something that we are capable of.
हमसे जो होता है उसको करेंगे ही. तो इस ढंग से हमारा कार्यक्रम की रूपरेखा है.
And whatever it is we are capable of, that much I will naturally do. So that this is the overall framework of my program. He is saying that our dedication is reflected in the programs that we live in the work that we are doing. So he was talking about if humankind is able to dedicate itself to develop humane consciousness so that we can all live in human orderliness, then, and that's in that context he started talking about how we know that we're dedicated towards it.
मैंने ये इसीलिए बात बताई गई, ये एक आदमी सुलझा होता है, सुलझाने के लिए कार्य करता ही है.
In the sense why I have mentioned all this is that if one person is resolved, then they naturally work towards helping others become resolved, to help resolve others as well.
जिसमें सरकार की भी जरूरत नहीं है और धनाढ्यों की भी जरूरत नहीं है.
In this, there is no need for any government, and nor is there any need for any, resourceful, moneyed people, people with a lot of money. So he's saying, even as a lone individual who is resolved, they can work towards helping others be resolved. You don't need the support of governments and other powerful and moneyed figures to be able to do this. You can also do it alone.
दोनों के बिना ही हम काम कर रहे हैं.
Even without either of these, I am working.
किसी धनाढ्यों के पास जाकर के धन लाए नहीं है, किसी सरकार से हमको कोई पैसा लाना नहीं पड़ा है. इतना
I never went to any wealthy people to collect resources for this program, and nor have I had to go to any government to, what did you
पास जाकर के धन लाए नहीं है, किसी सरकार से हमको कोई पैसा लाना नहीं पड़ा है.
And nor have I had to go and ask for money from any government.
इतना काम करने के लिए.
To be able to do all this work.
तो यदि इसको इस प्रकार की भी तोला जाए, इस प्रकार की कोई अनुसंधान करना ही पड़े, तब सरकार को कितना क्या करना पड़ता है वो भी सोच सकता है.
And in fact, if we begin to measure it in this way, then we can also think about just
प्रकार की कोई अनुसंधान करना ही पड़े, तब इसको इस प्रकार की भी तोला जाए, इस प्रकार की कोई अनुसंधान करना ही पड़े, तब सरकार को कितना क्या करना पड़ता है वो भी सोच सकता है.
I'm not sure exactly what he meant here, but I think what he's saying is, so if we start to measure things in this way, and if we have to do some sort of, invention or new discovery in some way, then what exactly it is that the government needs to do, what exact role the government needs to play in that is something worth thinking about. And maybe if we listen further, it will become clear what he was referring to.
तो अपना सोचते रहें, इसमें ना सोचें, ये जिम्मेवारी की बात है. मेरे
So you can keep thinking about this or don't think about it. That is your own responsibility.
मेरे अनुसार हर व्यक्ति शुभ के लिए जिम्मेवार है, ऐसा मेरा सोचना है. तो ना समझी से ही सारा कुकर्मों को करता है क्षति.
In my perspective, each human being is responsible for happiness.
बात है, मेरे अनुसार हर व्यक्ति शुभ के लिए जिम्मेवार है, ऐसा मेरा सोचना है.
Is responsible for well-being. This is my thinking. Each human being is responsible for well-being. This is my thinking.
तो ना समझी से ही सारा कुकर्मों को करता है, क्षतिग्रस्त होता है. यही.
It is only from lack of understanding, from ignorance, that they end up committing all sorts of misdeeds and then suffers the repercussions of that.
मेरा सोचना है निश्चय यही है.
This is my thinking. This is what my decision is. So he's saying everyone takes responsibility, is responsible for well-being. It is because we don't understand well-being. We don't have an understanding of what well-being is, means, and how it can be achieved, that we end up doing misdeeds. So all misdeeds that any human being is doing stems from their lack of understanding and not from anything else. That's actually quite a big step to take, because then the program to address it is also clear. Then if any misdeeds are happening from a lack of understanding, then all that is needed to rectify it is right education.
तो नासमझी के बिना कोई कुकर्म को करता नहीं आदमी जात.
So no one does any misdeed without a lack of understanding, at least in humans.
इस आधार पर हम समझते हैं हर व्यक्ति शुभ चाहते हैं. कभी न कभी शुभ के प्रति, सर्वशुभ के प्रति जिम्मेवारियां महसूस होगा है.
On this basis, I believe that every human being longs for well-being, and sometime or the other, they also will feel this responsibility towards well-being and universal well-being.
वो महसूस होने के क्रम में जीवन जागृति की बात आती है.
And it is in the course of feeling this responsibility that the question of the awakening of the Jeevan arises. So when we hope for universal well-being, that is when awakening of our Jeevan becomes a need for us.
वो सर्वशुभ को महसूस करने के अर्थ में ही जीवन जागृति की बात आती है.
It is only in the context of feeling for universal well-being that the question of awakening the Jeevan arises.
सुविधा संग्रह से मुक्ति, विरक्ति और भक्ति से जो कहीं ये नहीं हुए, समाज नहीं हो पाए, तो उसके स्थान पर एक स्वस्थ समाज रचना के लिए समझदारी इसी के अर्थ में जीवन जागृति की बात संसार के मानव के माने मेधावी मानव के साथ बात छेड़ने की बात आई.
Which is a liberation from resource and accumulation, hoarding and resource hoarding and accumulation. And because there was no possibility of a stable society forming on the basis of detachment and devotion. Therefore, so neither was resource accumulation helpful, nor detachment and devotion was helpful for social formation. And therefore, among thinkers, intellectuals, and well-wishers of humankind, this question of awakening of the Jeevan emerged, which is how do we live in social harmony? That is social well-being, universal well-being. That required this awakening of the Jeevan.
जिसमें से बुद्धि से होने वाली बोध और संकल्प क्रिया का प्रमाणीकरण तभी हो पाता है जब बुद्धि में सत्य बोध हो जाए, न्याय बोध हो जाए और धर्म बोध हो जाए.
Of which the evidence of the comprehension and resolve in the buddhi, that is in the intellect, only happens when there is a comprehension of the truth, a comprehension of justice, and the comprehension of order, that is dharma.
तीनों बोध होने की पश्चात ही ऐसे बुद्धि तो सद्बुद्धि कहलाता है और फलस्वरूप सर्वशुभ की कार्य में अपने जिम्मेवारी को स्वीकारना शुरू.
It is only in possession it is only upon these three comprehensions that the intellect, the buddhi, can be called sadbuddhi, or can be called a wise intellect. I can't think of a good word. Sadbuddhi. Sad means good and buddhi means intellect. So, yeah, a wise intellect. So it is only upon these three comprehensions of truth, order, and justice that the buddhi can be considered to be a wise buddhi, a wise intellect.
आता है और फलस्वरूप सर्वशुभ की कार्य में सद्बुद्धि कहलाता है और फलस्वरूप सर्वशुभ की कार्य में अपने जिम्मेवारी को स्वीकारना शुरू करता है.
And consequently, that wise intellect begins to accept its responsibilities towards universal well-being.
इसके पहले सर्वशुभ भी पता नहीं लगता और सर्वशुभ की जिम्मेवारी तो बहुत दिल्ली दूर है.
Because before this, neither do we understand or neither do we recognize universal well-being, nor do we, and feeling the responsibility towards that universal well-being is even further out of reach.
इस ढंग से बना रहता है.
In this way, this is the way it is found.
क्योंकि मैं भी यही अनुभव किया हूँ. मेरे किसी आयु तक हमको सर्वशुभ का कोई जिम्मेवारी मैंने बोध नहीं हुई थी और उस आयु तक हम कोई बोध होने की पहले हम कोई जिम्मेवारी को स्वीकार करने की बातें नहीं थी.
Because I have also experienced this. Up till a certain age, I had no need. I had no. What did he say?
मैं भी यही अनुभव किया हूँ. मेरे किसी आयु तक हमको सर्वशुभ का कोई जिम्मेवारी मैंने बोध नहीं हुई थी.
I did not feel any responsibility, any sense of responsibility towards universal well-being until I had until I attained this comprehension. I also did not work or accept these responsibilities towards universal well-being.
मेरे किसी आयु तक हमको सर्वशुभ का कोई जिम्मेवारी मैंने बोध नहीं हुई थी और उस आयु तक हम कोई बोध होने की पहले हम कोई जिम्मेवारी को स्वीकार करने की बातें नहीं थी.
So I did not feel the responsibilities for universal well-being until I comprehended these three things, and of course, naturally, until then there was no question of accepting such a responsibility. If he didn't feel that responsibility, how would he accept the responsibility?
हम उसको खुद नहीं किया तो आप कहां से करेंगे इसका.
Even I never did it, so how would you be able to do it?
मतलब ये हुआ तो सर्वशुभ की बोध होने के लिए ये न्याय बोध होना बहुत जरूरी है. धर्म बोध होना आवश्यक है. सत्य बोध होना नितांत आवश्यक है.
So what this means is that for universal well-being, it is essential to comprehend justice, absolutely essential to comprehend order or dharma, and even more essential to comprehend truth. So basically, our intellect, our buddhi, needs to comprehend, which is a very particular process, comprehend justice, order, and truth in order for us to dedicate ourselves towards universal well-being, is what he's saying. It's past 4:30, so I'm wondering if we should stop here.
We can. Unless you want to finish another paragraph or something, if there's something. Not paragraph, another.
Another little bit. You tell?
I will stop.
Okay.
Sounds so abrupt, but looking abrupt.
No, it's okay. We started late today. So, okay. Anything from this one? If you don't understand or anything, you can mention it. And if I say, okay, if I feel like this is something that will take a while for it to sink in, then I'll let you know. If something that can be cleared up just now, I can always let you know just now itself.
No, it's a very important thing it was, no? And so it's sounding even more discouraging actually. because for everyone to have both and buddhi, to the thing should come up, and then that feeling, then they'll get the full knowledge of Jeevan, and then only will they take it a responsibility to, for the planet or the whole.
We just need to think about ourselves
Ourselves.
first.
Then
Yeah,
of-
we are also part of everyone.
Ah,
You know.
that's of ourselves. That's of course the
Yeah.
only way one can do it.
Yeah. If every single person of everyone takes responsibility of that one
Mm.
part of everyone, then it's possible.
But then everyone, that's the thing, everyone must have that knowledge.
No, initially, see, one person, when they understand it, they're able to help others see the relevance of it. Like he was able to help so many people see the relevance of it directly. Then all those people were able to help other people see the relevance. So many others see the relevance of it who got involved trying to understand this. And now, so those people are helping even more people see the relevance of it. So this is how it happens. Each person becomes a fresh seed, but you can only become a seed when you have some sort of understanding and grasp of the relevance of universal well-being and that sort of thing.
But this process has been going on in different groups and stages with so many groups and people, but still not, it's not still seeped into the whole of society.
Of course not. I mean, society is huge, but it has spread really
Nothing,
far.
it's just not moved an inch from day one.
Hardly. That is not how I see it, at least. I have seen immense changes in people I have observed very closely since I was a child. I've seen qualitative change in so many people, and quantitatively, I've seen an increase in so many numbers.
That's
Where
because you have transformed.
no, I have seen qualitative change in myself also, but I'm saying, see, as someone observing other people involved in this process, I have seen huge numbers increasing and becoming more and more and more dedicated, more and more quickly, and more people being able to help others reach that stage more quickly.
And if you're talking only in the framework of Jeevan Vidya, of course, yes.
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
about the whole society in general.
I'm talking about Jeevan Vidya is not separate from society. I'm talking
I'm
about
talking about the whole society, not just Jeevan Vidya. That's what I'm saying. The whole society. There's so much more killing, more murder, there's more rape, more this, more. I mean, nothing is changing.
It's like a tsunami is moving this way. This is the whole of human history moving in one direction. And then a small ripple starts in the opposite direction. It will take its own time to,
But this
change the
ripple
tide.
started ever since, no? कब से ripple ही ripple हो रहा है ना? Jeevan Vidya is also one of the ripples, and there's been so many saints who've come and done
But
so
that's
many
that's what he's
things.
saying.
Such good
Okay, all
things.
those efforts of all the good people, all the well-wishers, somehow got converted into part of that tsunami when it turned into this whole Superman will rescue us business. That was one section we covered. When we convert any educational process into a faith-based process, that is when we are relinquishing responsibility and relinquishing our own ability to understand and empower ourselves and affect change. And that is what a lot of spiritual teachers, whether or not that is what they intended, that is what their messages got converted into. So that is why it just joined the tsunami rather than building in the other direction. But in one way or the other, all of those efforts by humankind in some way also resulted in this coming forward now. Because had those teachers not been around, had not added
Also,
their little bit, this couldn't have come up either.
this is also sounding like we are better than you. We have got it, and others haven't got it. Because many saints have come along. For example, I'll just name one. I mean, there must be many, and I have not read so much, so I can't say. For example, Vivekananda, he was not into any faith. He was a teacher. And Aurobindo and all these people. I mean, there are, of course, the faith ones are also there. Ganti and, in satsangs and reading the scriptures and all that also is there a lot. And even they bring some good in some societies, no doubt. But there have been these intelligent, educated ones which didn't talk only from religion point, that faith point.
Yeah, see, religion is not just institutional religion. Anyone who speaks of something that is mysterious automatically is taking a step towards disempowerment, away from education. If at the end of the day, their worldview or their philosophy proclaims that there is something mysterious that cannot be understood by everyone, then already you are pushing people away from choosing to
Follow that.
understand, choosing to understand things in their own right.
Mm.
So whether or not that is the intent, that is what ends up happening. That is the consequence. If there is even a tiny bit of mysticism, mystery in what you are teaching.
Mm. Okay.
So that has been a major trap for
I
humanity.
mean, Jeevan is kind of mystery only, no? Because we haven't experiencing it. We are believing it. I believe it.
No,
I
but
have
it is,
faith in it.
but you shouldn't believe it just to believe it. Here,
I believe it because I know
like,
somehow, at some level, I know it must be the truth. It is.
no,
Not
no,
only from him.
I would say that I would caution against that. It's like when you're in school, your teachers tell you that there is a sun. The sun that you see in the sky is a massive, gigantic ball of gas suspended in space. You know, initially, when you hear that information, you only believe it. It's like, in the same way, you believe right now someone is telling you that there is a Jeevan atom, you believe it. But if you leave it at that, whether it's the sun, which is being taught to you in your science class, or the Jeevan atom, if you leave it at that level of faith, it's going to go nowhere. It's not going to help anyone. Because then even science we turn into a religion that way. But what is being said is that if you study it, if you observe it, examine it, you will be able to see and understand how the sun is a ball of gas on your own. On your own right, you will be able to understand and see that the way other people figured it out and are telling you. Similarly with the Jeevan. It's when it is said that, see, this much you have to believe because not every... Oh, okay.
Hello.
So let's end here, I guess. We've already shot way past. So have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks.